I want to begin tonight. Tonight's the last lecture in our series on codependency, and I'll be doing the lecture on the inner child tonight. So I want to start off by doing a reading from The Language of Letting Go. The reading is from April the 8th. Self-care. I don't precisely know what you need to do to take care of yourself, but I know you can figure it out. Rest when you're tired. Take a drink of cold water when you're thirsty. Call a friend when you're lonely. Ask God for help when you feel overwhelmed. Many of us have learned how to deprive and neglect ourselves. Many of us have learned to push ourselves hard, when the problem is that we're already pushed too hard. Many of us are afraid the work won't get done if we rest when we're tired. The work will get done. It will be done better than that work emerges from tiredness of soul and spirit. Nurture and nourish people who love themselves and care for themselves are the delight of the universe. They are well-timed, efficient, and divinely led. Today, I will practice loving self-care. Okay, let me let these people in. And I want to do something tonight kind of special because we're going to close out the whole concept of the inner child tonight. So I want to kind of divide the lecture up into three parts. I want to do a meditation to start us off tonight. And after the meditation, I want to do a thing based around family sculpting called how to be able to recognize the difference between the loved child and the wounded child. And then we'll finish up tonight with another meditation. So I'd like you to just take some deep breaths, relax, and just kind of close your eyes for a few minutes and just relax. I'd like you to try to visualize yourself as a beautiful little child getting ready to be born. The Creator, the higher power, comes up to you and says, I'm going to send you on a journey into a world that's going to confuse you, a journey into a world that will teach you both joy and sorrow. I'm going to send you into a world at times that will test you. But I'm going to give you two beautiful gifts. I want to give you the gift of my love. That love, that energy will always be inside of you. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, you'll carry that love deep inside of you. I'm going to give you the gift of free will to allow you to make your decisions. And as you take these two gifts and go into the world, at times you'll be tested. At times you'll experience hurt. At times you'll experience joy. But above all, at times you'll experience confusion. But as you walk the journey of earth, I promise you also, I will walk right alongside of you. And as you get confused, and if you do need help, all you have to do is ask for my help. And I will send messengers, I will send teachers into your life to guide you, to help you along your journey. I hope and pray that you'll listen to the teachers, that you'll be open to them, but they will arrive. At times you won't listen, and yet sometimes in time you will. But the messages will always be there for your guidance and your direction. And as we go through the journey, we're going to experience some wounds. And so that love child deep inside of us at times will run into the wounded child. And the two of them together will help us and teach us to work through our struggles, to experience the gift of joy and love. And so as we take this energy with us tonight, we ask our higher power to guide us and be with us as we go on a journey of experiencing, of being able to come with and experience the gift of a little child. We were taught a little child shall lead us. Let's take time tonight to meet that little child within and to allow it to be our guide and our strength. I'd ask you now just to come back here, take a deep breath, open your eyes, relax. And I want to be able to share some things with you from that visualization. What I talked to you about was what I refer to as the wounded child and the love child. From the beginning of time, that beautiful gift of love, that little love child is deep down inside of us. But during our journey, sometimes we experience as adults and even as children trauma, hurt, pain. So the little child inside of us gets wounded, gets hurt. And we have to be able to listen to that child, listen to its pain and its struggle. But it's our responsibility to help heal that child, to strengthen it, to make that child stronger. It's our responsibility to be open to learn from the child within us. And that's why that's so special and so beautiful. And so as we look at tonight and begin to experience this, I'd like to share with you a little bit about the wounded child and the concept of the hurting child. And then from that, I'd like to share with you the connection to the love child. To do that, I want to share with you the experience in my own life that I've gone through. I can honestly say today, the first 40-some years of my life, that wounded child that was inside of me was buried very deeply. And even though messengers were sent to me many times, both through Al-Anon, through a nervous breakdown, through very special people who tried to help, they kept telling me over and over again that I was empty on the inside, that that little child inside of me was hurting. But I became very good at developing a way to freeze that child out and to be able to function on the outside, but not function on the inside. Because I was too scared to go inside. I was too scared to look at that child. I was too scared to embrace it. But above all, I never understood that it also was my responsibility to heal it. Finally, someone asked me to go see a doctor, a gentleman I'm forever indebted to. And I went to see that doctor because that doctor basically, and I'll be honest with you again, I don't want to have to deal with this or feel it, get in touch with it. Because one of the things I avoided like the plague was getting in touch with feelings. And so one of the most beautiful things that happened to me when I went to see that doctor to prove somebody else wrong, that doctor, for some reason, was one of those messengers and began the journey of thawing out the iceberg inside of me. I never truly understood that until I began to get in touch with my feelings, to get in touch with the hurt, to get in touch with the things I had buried for a long period of time, and to begin the journey of healing. I realized today being able to allow that iceberg to melt, having to look at the hurt and the pain, to look at the wounds and the struggles. I know now I'll only be able to heal them by allowing myself to feel and be through the feelings. And I wanted to share a little bit with you tonight because one of the things that particular doctor did for me, she did something for me called a visualization of my family, a visualization of what he called the family sculpting. And many of the things he did were based around that inventory I talked about last week. When I did the talk and talked about the journaling and doing an inventory of your life. He did a little bit of a way to describe it. Now, normally if I do this in public, we have people play roles and I take people through this. So for tonight, I'll have to use stick people to get the concept across to you. I like you to visualize, it's very briefly, and I'm going to use the term little boy because I'm talking about me. I like you to visualize a little boy laying on the floor on his back. And across his legs is a chair. And my mother is sitting on the chair, immobilizing my legs. Over the top of my head is another chair. In that chair sits a emotional feeling called depression, which I buried for a long time. Behind the chair on my shoulders is something called addiction. I never realized it, but addiction was a cover, a way to not have to feel, to be in touch with feelings. Next to depression, on a pedestal, was the church. And from the church in my childhood, two issues were very strongly given to me. The issue of fear and the issue of guilt. And so as I look at that child that's surrounded by fear and guilt, it's surrounded by isolation, by shame. And when the therapist did it, he put a blanket over me so I could feel what it's like to be smothered. And the part about it that really hit me so beautifully was feeling that feeling, almost like feeling like you're in a trap and you want to get out. And he created that because he wanted me to feel that. It's almost like wanting to get out, wanting to break free, wanting to loosen up, wanting to experience new things. I never felt that feeling before. It was a freeing feeling and a scary feeling at the same time. Because it meant taking responsibility for my growth and my life. I've been so used to somebody else taking that responsibility. Now I need to. And so what he really did in that visual is show me the things that held me back. But then he showed me how to break free. He had this beautiful thing called recovery come into my life. And what it did was it actually took the addiction off of me and arrested it. It was able to free me from the concept of depression and be able to get in touch with my feelings and begin to experience the beautiful feeling of anger, to use it in a proper way. I never realized that feeling was the feeling of grief, of sadness, of having never really had my own personal childhood. And as a result of that feeling and getting in touch with it, I began the journey out of the iceberg. Was it an overnight thing? No. The process I'm sharing with you tonight took over 5 or 6 years to really work through a lot of the stuff. It's a journey. And one of the things that's beautiful about the journey, you open it up and you actually melt that iceberg a little bit at a time. A lot of people refer to it as peeling the onion. Take one layer at a time. You take it slow. It's called healing. And that's what I mean when I say, as slowly but surely, they took away the issues and put them into my own personal jail cell, and then basically allowed me to begin to feel a sense of freedom. And then to be able to tell my mother to get off my legs, to free the child so the child could come alive. And one of the biggest losses I experienced was the loss of my father. Because once I was born, my mother's life was centralized around me, and my father kind of went out in the community. I guess I was angry at him too because he didn't save me. And yet, he became later on a good example for me. It's just funny as we go through this and we do this, we begin to realize the wounds that we experience, the wounded child, is necessary. Because you will never understand the love child unless you go through the wounded child. Because you can never understand healing unless you have struggle. You have to work through something. You know, we have a beautiful phrase in my eating disorder program, and it says, recovery is hard work. There's no magic about it. And it's not so much hard work, but courageous work. Just to be able, a little bit at a time, to start to celebrate the gift of who you are and begin to open that child up. And so I know deep down inside as an adult, because of trauma, I began to experience what I call the trauma child. I began to experience the control child. But it really wasn't a child, it was the trauma adult, the controlled adult. I literally began to work on the outside, not to look on the inside. What I learned about the inner child is once you start that process of healing, that process of growing, that process of learning, that process of freeing yourself, you begin to see the beautiful healing energy of love. And so tonight, as we celebrate the beautiful gift of the inner child, we celebrate it for the power and the energy of God's love. You know, it's amazing how every one of us are human beings, no matter who we are, no matter where we are, no matter what's going on. Now I truly understand what was said in Boys Town. There's no such thing as a bad child. There's bad behavior, yes. There's consequential behavior. But deep down inside of each and every one of us as human beings, there is this beautiful energy, spirit, which is really the energy and the power of love. And it's that spirit that literally helps us to become a better person as a result of it. And I really believe very deeply in that spirit, because it will help you and help all of us open up new doors and new dimensions in the course of our life. You know, it's almost like so many of us have experienced what I call the grieving process, the loss. We know what concrete losses are when somebody close to us dies. But think about it for a minute tonight. The loss that many of us had of our innocence, the loss we've had of that little child inside of us, and the sadness of that. Because deep down inside, each and every one of us is this beautiful, special person, this energy, this spirit inside of us. Yes, we have bodies, and our bodies are all different. They're housings, the housing of our spirit. And as you get older, the body will become weaker, but hopefully the spirit becomes stronger and the energy becomes stronger. Sometimes this body has a tendency to get involved in so many things on the outside when the real energy is on the inside. So I've learned something in life, and that is that I don't think we ever die like our body does, but our spirit, our energy, the uniqueness gets passed on, it's carried on from generations to generations. That's the beautiful part about life. It's a gift. And so tonight, as we look at that love child and begin to meet that love child and allow that love child to heal us on the inside, I'd like you to take time just to be able to embrace that child, to hug it, and to keep it with you deep on the inside. I never thought I'd say this, but now I'm learning how to love myself, how to respect and honor who I am as a person, how to begin to treat myself in a positive way. I never thought I'd be able to do that. I was too busy taking care of everybody else and telling everybody else they should do that for themselves. But now I understand. How can I share this gift and energy of love with other people if I'm not living it within my own self? Because it comes from the inside, not from the outside. And so I'm going to do a closing visualization tonight and then do a prayer service afterwards to take you on a journey back to that little child. And as you go on this journey, remember, and as you meet that little child, embrace that child, keep that child with you. I'd like you to take a deep breath and just relax. Close your eyes again. And allow yourself permission to go on a journey. I'd like you to visualize yourself leaving this room. Visualize yourself walking down a beautiful, beautiful golden corridor. At the end of the corridor, there's a huge but beautiful golden door. I would like you now to walk up to that door. I'd like you to reach up and touch it. And as you touch that beautiful door, it swings open. On the other side of the door, there is nothing but darkness. But way off in the distance, a beautiful but small golden light is shining. I'd like you to give yourself permission to walk towards that light. As you get closer and closer, it gets brighter, it gets bigger, and it gets more beautiful. It's almost like there's this powerful force that's almost pulling you towards the light until you are totally surrounded by the golden light of serenity, the golden light of peacefulness. Visualize yourself bathed in this beautiful golden light. Feel the sense of peacefulness and serenity, calmness, of gentleness. It's almost like as you bathe yourself in this light, It just feels so special and so beautiful and so peaceful. As you bathe in this golden light, you notice in the distance coming towards you a beautiful, beautiful pink light. As it gets closer, it gets brighter, it gets more beautiful until you are surrounded by the beautiful pink light of love. Just bathe yourself for a moment in the golden light of peace and serenity, in the beautiful, beautiful pink and beautiful light of love. Feel that energy, feel that specialness. And as you bathe yourself, you notice someone walking towards you from the beautiful pink light of love. You notice it is a little child. As it gets closer and closer to you, it comes right up at you, looks up at you. And as you look down at that beautiful little child, all of a sudden you realize that little child is you. That child smiles, leaps into your arms, and says to you, I've been waiting for you for a long time. I have come to give you my love. I have come to be with you. I have come to help you heal, to help you feel a sense of peace. And as you hug that beautiful little child and feel that powerful energy, I'd like you now to take that child in your arms. Carry that child with you as you walk back towards the golden door. But notice, as long as you hold on to that little child, the golden light of peace and serenity, the pink light of love, the healing energy of love will go with you. Now bring that child with you back into this room. And as you enter the room, you realize and look around you, there are many other little children in the room. The room is filled with the energy of the child. And we are told the little child shall lead us. As we embrace that little child, we embrace the spirit and the energy and the power of healing, the power of love. And whatever we've been through in the course of our journey in life, it's okay. Because the love child meets the wounded child. The two of them finally come together. And together, the gift of healing takes place. The gift of understanding. The gentleness. And as they come together, and you embrace and feel that little child and that wounded child meeting one another, hugging on to one another and healing, I'd like you to take a moment and share with me a beautiful prayer. God, you gave us such a beautiful gift at our birth. You gave us the gift of love. You gave us that beautiful energy. And today we take that energy you've given us. And we say thank you. For through that energy of love, we're able to heal and make peace. To make peace with the past. To make peace with life. To be able to celebrate. Be able to live. To be able to feel. To be able to cry. To be alive. To be able to share that gift with all that we meet. and know that deep inside of each and every one of us, there is this beautiful, beautiful, thank you, God, little child filled with energy, filled with healing, filled with the power of love. And as the two beautiful children meet, the wounded child and the healing child, they now become one. And from the scars of the wounded child comes the healing energy to be able to carry to others and share with others the gift of healing and the gift of love. So tonight, as we gather together, we ask the God of our understanding, as we come before that God in gratitude and love, to allow us to always be open to share that energy with any hurt or pain or struggle we have within. So we face this in life in the spirit of gratitude, in the spirit of love, as we come together in prayer. We are grateful for so much, but above all, we're grateful for the gift of life, for the gift of healing. We are grateful to feel the feeling to be joyful, to be joyous, to sense a sense of who we really are. And so as we come back together as a family, we share with each other and we close out. As we're going to share the serenity prayer together. And Pat, will you take us out?
God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. We are somebody special because God don't make no children.